bum, 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 bum. All right, I believe we're getting online right now. If you are watching this after the fact, of course, you don't want to hear my jibber jab chatting with the fans. All you got to do is fast forward until you get to the zeros, and then we're gonna be good to go. Oop, got to turn this shit off. There we go. All right. Where are all my biznickles at? You gotta do this too. Jeez, oh Pete's behind the gate ball, behind the 8 ball, these guys. 2, and then switch it. Then slap it up, flip it, rub it down. Oh no. Hello everyone. How are you today? Hello Cobalt. Hello Sean. Hello Tyler. Hello Brian. Hope everybody's having a Jim Dandy of a day. I'll tell you what, we got a hell of a lineup coming up in the afternoon game. Everybody's fighting for, contending for a spot in the playoffs, but not everybody can make the playoffs. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Okay. Got 5 minutes to go here. Once again, of course, after the fact. If you don't want to hear the jibber jab and the setup riffing, then you can just scroll ahead to a 0. Hey, Sean. It's been a while since you had a Jim Dandy. You know what? We should all have more Jim Dandies in our life, I believe. You know, what you got to do is you got to go out and talk to your local chamber of commerce. You really need to get your local economy booming. And that's how Jim Dandies happen. It's when you involve your community and your church, and the Jim Dandying just goes on and on. Hello, A.B. Sigler. I know you. I know you. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, tonight's live read is going to be Santa No Pants Part 1. I had promised you that A and I would be doing a tag team reading of the Ancestor prequel scripts, but we read those scripts, and it turns out only one of them has basically a male-female part. One of them has no parts at all, and the other two are just kind of weird and kind of short, so it didn't really work out. So, hey, Recluse Mage, we just kind of scrambled, and we decided we're just going to run with Santa No Pants early. Santa No Pants might wind up being a 3-parter. I do not know. I can't tell you. Okay, let's go ahead and after the episode, our deep cuts this week is the official set of rules on what constitutes a Christmas movie. Who wrote these rules? I wrote these rules. It is my decision forever what constitutes a Christmas movie. So all of the the garbage that goes online, hot take, this isn't actually a Christmas movie, that's all. You know what, you now are going to be equipped with the knowledge on how to just ignore those people, because you will have all the smarts in the world. Oh, Rob Otto's in the house, fabulous. Rob Otto contributed to the official ruling of what constitutes a Christmas movie. You guys can all debate it when that episode starts. If you don't agree with me, you'll be wrong, but you're allowed to have your opinion. That is the beauty of America right there. If you are listening, yes, please put on more tea. I've almost gone through this whole thing already. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So we have Santa No Pants. This first part is not, no, it's all gross. It's all horribly, horribly wrong. No way around it. Nell Zone McClintock, Chris Grawl. How y'all doing? Don Shipley in the house. Very nice to see everybody come hang out with us. Do you like my festive Christmas colors? Look at all of this stuff. We have a festive Santa, festive colors for the timers to hit 0. It's wonderful. I still have, and we have, today we are wearing, well, I'll show you when the big camera goes up. This is for crankybastardcocktails.com, a website that is going to be launched by none other than Dr. Daniel Baker, PhD, longtime friend of the show. Hello, Beth. How are you? Good to see you. Yeah, Cobalt, it would have been awesome if we could have had that tag team recording, but we didn't have. We'll do it at some point. We just didn't have the right material to make it happen. But the benefit is you guys get to hear about Santa No Pants. He's a very interesting person. Probably not the nicest person in the world. If he's real at all, we don't know. We don't know these things. There we go. Now I can hear myself properly in the headphones. Let's get this put away from my mouth so I'm not popping my P's and clicking my T's and all that other great stuff. Everybody gearing up for the holidays? You guys getting ready for fun Christmassy type stuff? Hopefully you have gone out and targeted your own wild turkey, and you will be either shooting it, trapping it, or catching it with your bare hands and wringing its neck. That's really the only proper way to enjoy Christmas. And of course, you have to pluck that plucker. You got to do all that, and then gut it, get all that stuff out of there. Tyler Miller says, doesn't sound like a good tap to sit on. To each their own, my friend. To each their own. All right, we got a bunch of people here from Facebook. We got a bunch of people from YouTube, a bunch of people from Twitch. I'll tell you, you're all lovely people, and you all smell a lot like Christmas flowers. I don't know if there is a Christmas flower. Jenna Leah, how are you? Xmas hats are happening. Lovely. I got a new Christmas hat from A. It's pretty cool. So I will be wearing that in the weeks to come. Let's go to Maine as we get ready to bring it on down. Death is Black. Now, I admit, Death is Black is not incredibly Christmassy and festive, but that's the way it goes. Oh, the autofocus is back on. I'll tell you what. This stuff is frustrating. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into it. Take this down. It's time to party. Okay, here we go. Make sure we are recording. Make sure we are recording. And we are not recording. I don't know why. Let's figure that out. Because of that crazy thing. Okay, we're recording now. Very good, very good. Bring that back. Great. Ladies and gentlemen, it is story time. And here we go. Santa No Pants, A Christmas Story by Scott Sigler. Happy holidays, visitor. Christmas is coming. And with it, sometimes, a helping of red that isn't Santa's suit or Rudolph's nose. I forget my manners. How are you? It's me, Townie Ted. Happy holidays. Are you gearing up for special moments with your family? You decorate your tree yet? How about that Christmas dinner? Did you shoot and pluck your own wild turkey? That is a favorite holiday meal here in Parrish. Turkeys seem to love the Bordeaux. Now, while you don't want to go too far into that swampland, because it will change you, there's good hunting around the edges. Or maybe you're one of those store-bought turkey people. I ain't passing judgment on you. Seems pretty efficient, to be honest. You walk into a grocery store, it's all warm and toasty. Maybe they're playing holiday music. Maybe there's some pretty Christmas displays. You find your frozen turkey, and that's that. Would I be a store-boughter? I don't think so, visitor. Sometimes the hunt pleases those who came before us. Sometimes, though, it's the killing that does the trick for them. Or maybe the people in Parrish just prefer the taste of wild game. It's hard to say, really. So, it's Christmas, and I suspect you're here to listen to a Christmas story. As luck would have it, Parrish has plenty of them. Now, you probably expect me to tell a tale about Parrish's world-famous Christmas Day Parade and Mulled Dandelion Wine Festival. It is the world's oldest Mulled Dandelion Wine Festival, by the way. But this story, it ain't about that. This one involves one of Parrish's founding families. and lumber barons, and rich daughters rebelling against having it all, and poor daughters bitter they don't have anything, and a love triangle of sorts, and the ruins of an old mill, and one old, lovable, farting golden Labrador. And one old, lovable, farting golden and one old, lovable, farting yellow lab named Zeke. This story also involves some of Parrish's darker history. Trust me when I tell you, that is saying something. The year is 1988. Get your hot chocolate ready, cuddle up in your favorite blanket, and let's find out who's been naughty or nice. Oh, excuse me, 1 second. Here we go. They're still home, Dale. You said they would be gone. Rikki huddled in her coat. Sometimes the heater in Dale's truck worked, sometimes it didn't. This was one of the times it didn't. Probably Mr. Deerdorf's planning for the weather, Dale said. He thinks he knows when the roads are the safest. With as much money as he spends on cars, you kind of got to know the weather. But are they going? Rikki said. But they are going, Rikki said. You're sure? Dale held the steering wheel like he was driving, not parked on the side of a dirt road that offered a narrow but clear view of the Deerdorf driveway and the huge log house behind it. A boxy gray Mercedes, it looked like a Jeep to Rikki, and a red Corvette sat on that driveway, exhaust drifting from the tailpipes. The Mercedes was brand new, Rikki had heard. Typical of the Deerdorfs. They had to lord their money over everyone all the time. Their cars are warming up, Dale said. They go to Flint every year. Relax, babe. She hated it when he told her to relax. She hated it when he told her to do anything. She ran this relationship, not him. You better be right, Rikki said. I'm out here freezing my cunt off because of your piece of shit truck. He winced at the curse word. Such an odd guy, Dale was. He'd played offensive line in high school, second biggest guy in the team. The other guys on the team, dumb jocks, most of them, cursed like sailors when they weren't around grown-ups. Well, around older grown-ups anyway. She and Dale and Laura Deerdorf as well had graduated 2 years earlier. So they were grown-ups too, weren't they? Dale didn't swear much, on account of his mom, Rikki knew. That old hag ruled the McGovern family with an iron fist. Dale's dad was pussy-whipped. Dale was, too. First by his mom, now by Rikki. Maybe we should just drop this, Dale said quietly. Drop this? Now? What's the matter, Dale? You think you're getting back together with Laura or something? Is she going to take you back? Suck your cock this time, like I do? Dale's right thumb made a small circle on the steering wheel. Rikki knew that look on his face. He was about to say some seriously stupid shit. Dale said seriously stupid shit a lot. It's Christmas Eve, he said. We're not supposed to do bad stuff on Christmas Eve. Rikki shook her head. Jesus, Dale, what are you, 7? Don't tell me you think Santa No Pants is going to get us. Do not tell me that. Dale stared at his circling thumb. He shrugged. I mean, they'll be gone for 2 days, maybe 3. We could just rob them tomorrow. How could someone so big and strong be such a goddamn wimp. You're afraid of bullshit kid stories, Rikki said. Not tomorrow night, tonight. We've been over this. Most of the cops have the night off. There will only be 2 cars running tonight. If you're wrong about the key and we have to break in, we still have plenty of time to get what we can and get out before those idiots arrive. Dale knew the Deerdorfs because he had dated Laura. Rikki knew the cops' habits because 2 years ago she'd been fucking Rich Stemke, even though he'd been 24 at the time and she had been 17. They had boned in his cop cruiser. He was an okay guy, but not all that exciting in the sack. Not like Dale was. Yeah, Dale said. I mean, I don't know. She slid across the seat toward him. She put her gloved hand on his inner thigh. She squeezed. Dale, if you back out now, you and I are done. So you can go back to dating Rosie Palm and her 5 sisters. Or maybe you can go see if Laura got some action down in Ann Arbor and she isn't such a prude anymore. Is that what you want, Dale? He finally looked at her, his eyes tracing her face. He thought she was beautiful. She knew she was, for sure, but it was nice that he found her so hot he would do anything she asked. No, he said. No, I don't want that. We'll do it tonight. He put his arm around her. Together, they stared out the truck's windshield. They watched the Deerdorf's expensive vehicles idle. Rikki also looked at the 3-story log house, or at least what she could see of it through the trees. A house built with blood money. Tonight, she was going to get a little bit of that blood back. Zeke farted. The small noise didn't wake him, nor did the powerful stench that spread through the kitchen. Oh my God, Jennifer said, laughing as she covered her nose and mouth with her hands. Zeke, buddy, you stink. The mention of the dog's name accomplished what the fart did not. The big old yellow lab lifted his gray-muzzled head, looked at Jennifer, gave 2 thumps of his thick tail, then looked at Laura. He always looked at Laura. Such love in his eyes. Zeke gave Laura 3 tail thumps, then lowered his head to the kitchen floor and immediately started snoring. That's one more reason the dog can't go, Laura's mother said. Who knows what he ate? Who knows what he ate this time? He'll be fine, Laura. He's always been fine before. 10 years ago, on Laura's 9th birthday, she had awoken when her father put a floppy puppy on her bed. So soft and fuzzy, big blue bow tied around his neck. That goofy smile on his mouth. They had clicked instantly. The pup had known, somehow, that he was hers. Tail wagging, he had pounced on her, mouthing her fingers, chewing her hair so much that clumps of dog spit dried in it. Zeke was beautiful. Zeke was perfect. Stinky, yes, but still perfect. He wasn't old before, Mom, Laura said. What if something happens to him? She'd been at U of M for a year and a half. Zeke seemed to age in spurts now, while she was gone. Each time she came home, he seemed a little older. Poor guy had clumps of fat under his fur now. He didn't run that much anymore. He waddled instead, bad hips making him move side to side when he walked. Nothing will happen to the dog. Mom pulled on her North Face parka, fixed Laura with her "don't try me" look. Your grandmother is allergic to dogs. I'm not having this conversation again. You have all your stuff for school? Jennifer, is your stuff packed? Already in the car, Mrs. Deerdorf, Jennifer said. Thanks again for having me. This house is so nice. Jennifer was from Boston. Her parents were vacationing somewhere in Europe. She'd come home with Laura instead of staying in their apartment in Ann Arbor, alone, during the first part of Christmas break. We loved having you, Mom said. Hopefully, you'll come visit us again someday. Laura, are you ready to go or not? Laura looked at Zeke, watched his rib cage rise and fall with his deep, noisy breaths. Yeah, Mom. Dad put my stuff in the car already. The annual Christmas pilgrimage to see Grandma Deerdorf. Every year on the day before Christmas, Laura drove with her mom and dad to Grandma's house in Flint. 3 years ago, they had taken Dale McGovern with them, who Laura had been dating at the time. Now, Dale was with that slut, Rikki Makowski. Laura didn't even like her grandmother. Just because you were old and rich didn't mean you got to be a bitch to everyone. Zeke always stayed in his doghouse in the garage with a big bowl of food and a big bowl of water. He never overate till he got sick like some dogs did. When Zeke got sick, it was because he ate dead animals on the property. Zeke was perfect, but kind of gross sometimes. It's cold out, Mom. He will freeze to death. Mom's lips pressed into a tight line. Her lipstick got on her teeth when she did that. The garage is heated, she said. You know this. Zeke comes and goes as he pleases. He stays, and that is that. Mom was a bitch, too, just like Grandma. Dad strolled into the room. His parka matched Mom's. She always bought them matching jackets. Laura knew her dad hated it, but he went along with it. For the little things, choose the path of least resistance, he liked to say. Then you can dig in your heels for the things that really matter. Ladies, let's motivate, he said. A storm is expected in 4 hours. I want to be in Flint before it hits. He smiled at Laura. We wouldn't want anything to happen to your vet, hon. I warmed it up for you. Her car. Whatever. If it was her car, she would have gotten it new, not Dad's bullshit 3-year-old hand-me-down. Dad, I want to take Zeke, Laura said. He can stay in Grandma's garage. Dad's smile vanished. When it did, the room seemed to grow colder. Laura knew she had overstepped. I already told you no, he said. Zeke stays. It's time to leave. Take Jennifer back to Ann Arbor and meet us at Grandma's. Jennifer, please get in the car. You too, Laura. I will put Zeke in the garage. Laura glanced at Jennifer, saw her uncomfortable, wide-eyed expression. She'd been here for 4 days, and Dad hadn't lost his temper once. This was her first experience with angry Dad. Only a 2 on a 10-point scale, 3 at the most. But Jennifer caught the vibe. And so did Laura. Okay, Dad, she said softly. Okay. She knelt next to Zeke, rubbed his ear. You be a good boy, she said. I love you. Zeke's tail thumped twice. He looked so old. It wasn't fair. Come on, Jen, Laura said. Let's get on the road. The Deerdorfs owned a lot of land. When Dale dated Laura, he'd walked a bunch of that land with her and her dog. He knew the paths that wound through the trees. The sun hadn't fully set, but enough that it was almost dark in the thick woods. When they left, he would use the flashlight he had brought with. This path takes us right to the back of the garage, he said. No one's going to see us. Not that anyone would have seen them at noon, either. There were no other houses behind the Deerdorf's place. Just trees. They owned a lot of land. He felt bad about robbing Laura's parents, especially on Christmas Eve, but he'd get to see Zeke again, which was great. That dog better not bark at us, Rikki said. And hurry up, it's freezing out here. Rikki complained a lot. Dale was noticing it more as of late. They weren't fucking as much as they used to. He was starting to wonder if she was holding back on purpose, but she said she wasn't. He had never been with someone as hot as Rikki. Laura was pretty, for sure, but she wasn't in Rikki's league. "He won't bark," Dale said. "He knows me. Just step where I step. It's easier that way." With tall pines and poplars all around, there wasn't much snow on the path. Like only an inch or so, not the 2 feet that drifted up in the fields. Still, he wanted Rikki to walk in his footsteps. The coming storm would hopefully cover them all up. If it didn't, and if she walked in his steps, the cops wouldn't know how many people had robbed the Deerdorf's house. Dale learned that trick from the Jawas in Star Wars. "How convenient, all these beautiful trees," Rikki said. "Surprised they didn't cut these down along with the rest, the greedy fucksticks." Dale hated it when she cursed. Girls weren't supposed to curse. Laura never had. Why wouldn't they have trees? He heard Rikki stop walking. He stopped, too, and turned to face her. "You must be fucking with me," she said. God, he hated it when she cursed. "I'm not," Dale said. "Why would they cut down these trees? The trees are nice." Rikki's eyebrows rose. Her sexy mouth curled into a smile. Rikki knew lots of stuff. She was smarter than anyone Dale knew. And that included Laura, who went to the University of Michigan. "Because Deerdorf Lumber clear-cut everything way back when," Rikki said. "When they stole Kapanoka land, what do you think they did with it? They cut down all the trees and they made a fortune." Dale wished he hadn't said anything. When Rikki got rolling along with all that Indian stuff, it was hard to stop her. Maybe because she was part Indian herself. "It was a long time ago," Dale said. "Like 60 years or something. Let's just keep moving." But Rikki didn't move. 60 years of money and power, Dale," she said. "Why do you think I want to rob the Deerdorfs anyway?" Dale almost said, because they have a whole lot of money, but he caught himself, figuring that wasn't the only reason. Maybe Rikki wanted to rob them because she was jealous. Maybe Rikki wanted to rob them because she was jealous he had dated Laura. Girls were like that sometimes. "Holy shit," Rikki said. "You don't know. You're afraid of Santa No Pants, right?" Her smile shifted to the one she wore when she thought she was smarter than everyone else. Dale did not like that smile. He still wanted to fuck her when she wore that smile, sure, but he didn't like it. "I'm not afraid," he said. Which was a lie. He'd heard stories when he'd been a kid. No one had ever found the Anderson twins. And hadn't Mr. McClurkin vanished on Christmas Eve? "Good," Rikki said, "because it's a myth. But you don't know where that myth came from, do you?" Dale realized he did not. It's like an old Indian spirit, isn't it? It's been around for thousands of years or whatever." Rikki's eyes widened. "Dale, it's Santa No Pants. Do you think the Kapanoka and the other tribes that were here before the whites came believed in fucking Santa Claus?" In fact, he had never thought about that. The way she said it, though, it did sound kind of strange. "The Deerdorf Lumber Company raped these lands in the 1800s, Rikki said. "But that wasn't enough for them. Silas Deerdorf used some of that money to build an Indian boarding school, the Jesus Holy Childhood School. You've been there?" Dale nodded. "Yeah, the old ruined building by the old lumber mill in the swamp. I've been there with Pavowski and O'Connor a few times." Paul Pavowski and Brad O'Connor had been on the O-line with him. They liked to go out into the woods and drink. A lot. "Know who was forced to go to that school, Dale? Some Chippewa kids, of course, but mostly Kapanoka." Rikki grew angrier as she went. My grandmother was forced to go there. They tried to beat the Indian out of her. Peter Deerdorf did more than that. He's where the Santa No Pants legend comes from. Peter Deerdorf. Dale knew that name. Oh, is he Laura's great-grandfather? Rikki nodded. He is. He molested kids in that school. He liked holidays. Christmas the most. That school, it was a prison. Indian kids lived there, and they couldn't leave. He owned the school. On Christmas, he would make the staff go home. He would stay there by himself. My grandmother told me he dressed up like Santa, and he would take off his pants and make the kids sit on his lap. Dale wanted her to stop talking. He didn't want to hear about this stuff. Yeah, sure, people treated Indians bad way back when, but he had nothing to do with it. No one stopped Deerdorf, she said. Not until Christmas Eve, 1932. That was the year the kids attacked him. 24 boys and girls, my grandma told me. They overpowered him and dragged him to the mill. It wasn't the old mill back then. It still worked. They turned on a wood chipper, Dale. They put Deerdorf in it, feet first. Fucker didn't have any pants on. Not that it would have mattered that much if he had, I guess. Dale had never heard that story. Maybe because the Kapanoka kids and their kids kept it to themselves because they had murdered a man. But the Santa No Pants stories I heard don't talk about stuff like that, Dale said. It's not in the rhyme or anything. A rhyme he had learned as a little kid. 'Twas the fright before Christmas, when all through the home came a fateful growl and a terrifying moan. He came down the chimney with blood in his hair, and all was lost because St. Dickless was there. The story went that if you sinned on Christmas Eve, Santa No Pants would get you. Rikki was still smiling, her not nice smile. And then a cold realization hit Dale. Wait a minute, he said. The Deerdorfs have lived in the house for like over 100 years. Are you telling me we're robbing a house on Christmas Eve, a house that once belonged to Santa No Pants? Rikki shivered from the cold. You pinned the tail right on the donkey, smart guy, she said. We're going to rob the family that got rich off stealing my ancestors' land. Let's go. I am fucking freezing. He hated it when she cursed. The holiday highway traffic wasn't as bad as Ann Arbor's regular day-to-day traffic. Laura might not have noticed it at all if it weren't for the utter lack of traffic around Parrish. And why would there be any? Parrish was so boring. She hated coming home. Why couldn't she just stay at U of M? I'm just so sick of her, Laura said. Always bossing me around. No one bosses me around at school. Jennifer eased her seat back. She kicked off her boots, put her feet in their heavy wool socks up on the dashboard. I don't know, she said. Your ma seems okay to me. Of course, Jennifer would think that. Mom put on a good show for company. You were only with her for 4 days, Laura said. Trust me, she's a manipulating bitch when she wants to be. Jennifer nodded slowly, looked out the window at the trees whizzing by alongside the highway. I love your car, she said. She picked up a cassette case from the floor. Who do you want to listen to? Madonna? Laura was getting a little jaded on Madonna, but Jennifer loved her. Sure, Laura said. Jennifer put a cassette in the Corvette's deck. A click, a whir, and then the first string section notes of Papa Don't Preach came over the speakers. Papa don't preach? How about Papa and Mama stop preaching all the time? How about that? Excuse me. I'm just scared something will happen to Zeke, Laura said. What if he gets sick and he's no one home? What if he eats some dead animal again, has to go to the vet? He'll be all scared and alone, and he'll be looking for me, and I won't be there. Jennifer put her feet down. Her hands tapped on her knees in time to the music. How long have we been driving? Laura shrugged. I don't know, like 30 minutes? We only just got on the highway. Jennifer tapped some more. She hummed along to the chorus. Papa don't preach, I'm in trouble deep. Papa don't preach, I've been losing sleep. Zeke is like your baby, Jennifer said. I mean, like your little baby buddy. Yeah? The thought of that dog being all alone, he'd just gotten so old. Yeah, he's a sweet baby, Laura said. He's my boy. A boy she didn't get to see all that often. Was Zeke the only reason she came home from school at all? Let's go back and get him, Jennifer said. We'll grab a blanket. He can sit in that little back area behind us. I'll move our stuff. You drop us off at our apartment, then you go to your grandmother's. I'll take good care of him for you. You can hang with your family. You don't need to worry about him. Such a simple idea. But what happens when my parents get back to the house and he's gone? I don't know, Jennifer said. Maybe you come up with an excuse to leave Grandma's early. You take Zeke home before your parents get back. Or, we just keep him at our place. Whatever. Your parents left him in a garage, didn't they? For days. That's not cool. A garage. A heated garage with plenty of food. But still, old Zeke was alone, and Laura hated that. Why not do it? She was 19 years old. She was an adult. Zeke was her dog, not theirs. She could decide what was best for him. Yeah, Laura said. Yeah, I think you're right, Jen. You're a really good friend. Thank you for this. Jennifer squeezed Laura's shoulder. You bet, Roomie. Now turn this mean machine around and let's go get that stinky pup of yours. Laura nodded, feeling better than she had all day. Good old Zeke. Such a good buddy. A few minutes later, the Corvette angled off the next exit. Well, visitor, looks like the stage is set for an unexpected reunion. Will Rikki and Dale finish up their work before Laura and Jennifer return? Will Zeke be a good boy? Is Santa No Pants just a story to frighten children? Come chat with me again in the next episode and we'll find out together. It's Christmas in Parrish, Michigan. Don't forget, visitor, things are different here. All right. That was part one. Where the hell did chat go? Oh, there it is. Oh. Looks like I lost the chat. Let's see if you guys are even still there. Got the chat there. Okay. Come on up, A. Sigler. Rob Otto says, I figured it out. Zeke ain't wearing no pants. It's him. It's very possible, Rob. I mean, let's be honest. I can neither confirm nor deny at this point that you are incorrect or whatever. Chris Crizzle Levesque. What's up, Crizzle? Richard Bennett. Oh, Richard Bennett likes. Good job. All right. I'm happy you guys are enjoying this. It's been pretty fun so far. Okay, let's get A's mic turned on. And Sugar Plum, your headphones are already dialed in. Oh, I need that. Sean Dyer says, I forget where I dropped this question, but is Iowa Typhoon in the same reality as Parrish, Michigan? And the answer is no. The answer is no. However, I have not yet ruled out that sleigh might be in the same universe as Parrish, Michigan. I'm pretty sure, though, that Iowa Typhoon is not. Iowa Typhoon is science-based. And let's switch over to Ace Cam.
Sleigh,
Hey.
not so much.
Look who's here, everybody.
Hi, guys. I appreciate you guys chatting with me in the chat room, and whoever sassed me about blocking my own I did that, but I fixed it.
Oh, you blocked someone?
I blocked us. I blocked Restream.
You blocked Restream. That must have been what happened with the chat, I guess.
Yeah, I fixed it.
Rob Otto says Parrish or Parish. It is Perish. That is how it is spelled. That's what is on the sign at the off-ramp for the highway. And that's what it's all about, y'all. That's what it's all about. Oh, look at this. Look at all these lovely people. People are happy to see you, baby. Check it out.
Hi, guys.
Marble Gargler 69 says, hey. I love it. Okay. How we doing now? Let's adjust your camera a little bit, Pumpkin. That's not on me. I can fix that. To the right. And then we got to go to preferences and oops. From the window to the wall. All you Bar Gargler 69s fall.
Oh, my.
Oh, my. Aperture priority. There. That should do the trick. That looks a little bit better. Might even look the same. I don't know. Have you seen my shirt, by the way? You seen my shirt?
Oh, my goodness. I have seen your shirt. That is a lovely...
What does it say? What does it say, darling?
It says Cranky Bastard Cocktails. CrankyBastardCocktails.com. If you guys don't yet know this is our dear friend and fellow chat room frequenter. Devotee. Dr. Daniel Baker, PhD, is launching his cocktail website, and trust a girl who has had not enough, but many of Dr. Daniel Baker's cocktails. They're wonderful. You should follow that. He is a very talented mixologist.
Talented mixologist. In the chat room, who said it? David Lamb says the sex gnomes would go well with Santa No Pants. You need to meet Santa No Pants first. You need to meet Santa No Pants first. I honestly, I don't think the sex gnomes would be involved in that particular bit of myth.
I think they'd be too busy, but I don't want to discuss what they'd be doing.
Thanks, Pumpkin. We got a dirty joke out of you. That's fantastic.
Oh,
that's rare. That's freaking rare. Usually,
now I'm blushing.
Whoops.
Oh, there we go.
Usually, I'm carrying the weight of all the very important dirty jokes, fart jokes, and booger jokes in this show. Well, it's nice. I'm glad that you stepped up to the plate a little bit and helped the brother out.
Hey, Marble Gargler. I thought that might be you because of the artwork, but then I wasn't sure if it was just routine artwork on Restream or not. So I just want to say I sent you something today.
Yes. You know what we'll do? Once Danny's got the site up, we'll get him on the show and talk about his site.
Oh, yeah.
Let him get rolling for a little while first, though.
That'll be really fun.
All right, you guys. Now, I know many people are tuning in to experience the joy of me liberating you from an entire world that wants to try and tell you what a specific thing is. And this is why you love me, because I will tell you what the specific thing is. And then you never have to question it ever again, because now you know the gospel. You know the gospel truth.
I'm sure we were all waiting for that.
For sure.
Hey, Jude. My brother Jude is in the chat room, and I just want to say I love you very much.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for Deep Cuts.
Before we begin any of that, would you turn off the Schwarmy sounds on the Deep Cuts?
I did already.
Oh,
you know what?
Guys,
and let's do housekeeping real quick. I forgot about housekeeping. So right now I'm working on the Crypt Book 2 second draft. I'm 40,000 words in so far. That's 30% through the second draft. I've hit a couple of spots where I had to rework bits of the plot and rearrange things. So it bogged down more than I was hoping for, but this is pretty normal. It's quite standard, actually. Sunday, December 8th, the 7th day of Deer Camp Part 2 went live in the podcast feed. Wednesday, December 11th, which is today, by the way. Today, by the way, which is entirely my fault. Nobody else's fault but mine.
Santa No Pants.
Deep Cuts went up late. It's Santa No Pants' fault.
I mean, obviously. Deep
Cuts 28, Christoph Laputka interview. And of course, he is the creator of Leviathan Chronicles and the new Invenios Expeditions, right?
Invenios Expeditions and the Rapscallion Agency. And they're all really terrific. Full cast audios that you can find on the interwebs. And if you haven't listened, you should.
Yes. Let me just adjust this for you. Smidgen.
Thank you. I was thinking it was a little further.
You're right there. You can just snuggle up on that. But anyways, it was a fantastic interview. He is a great dude. makes great stuff, and it's in the podcast feed. You can listen to it. If you haven't listened to Leviathan Chronicles and other stuff, it is all completely bug nuts, over the top action, lighthearted. I don't even think there's any cursing in it. Is there? There's not a lot.
Yeah, I don't think so.
But you can just imagine me cursing in your ear while you listen to it in your other ear, and everything will work out. Sunday, December 15th, tonight's episode goes live in the podcast feed. Tuesday, December 17th, tonight's Deep Cuts, which you're about to listen to, will go live in the feed. And Wednesday, December 18th, our guest will be podcaster and musician George Schraub to talk about his Christmas album, Stocking Stuffer. And is one of my favorite people in the whole world. I really think he is wicked, wicked smart and clever, and you guys should tune in and enjoy that.
And I have to say, the new album that he's coming here to discuss, as Scott mentioned, is called Stocking Stuffer. George Schraub. Schraub is spelled H-R-A-B. If you want to look it up on Spotify, listen before next week, that kind of thing. I will say on Stocking Stuffer, there is a song called The Christmas Pants.
I haven't listened to it yet.
Hopefully not very much overlap between Scott Ziegler's Christmas Pants story and George Schraub's Christmas song.
Hopefully not, for George's
Christmas
sake.
Pants.
In the chat room, Dr. Danny Bigger, PhD, says tentative launch date for the website is January 3rd, 2025. Ian Segal says, is the original Crypt Character Sketch podcast available anywhere? I forget. The answer is
nope.
It's not available from us. It's not available from us.
Yeah, it is not. We took it down everywhere that we could find them. I will say that some of the characters, obviously you already know this, Ian, but some of the characters from those sketches, you will see peppered throughout the Crypt series as it unfolds. And their backgrounds, I think their characteristics, have bled through, but maybe some of the details have changed a little bit to fit the longer form story. Mm-hmm. And I don't think we have plans to re-release those at all.
No, we don't.
Yeah.
We don't. It's a yes and no. So the short character sketches from the Crypt, if those characters are in the Crypt that you're listening to right now, we're not going to redo those. Mm-hmm. If I am bringing those characters on board later, or I've mentioned those characters on board, you may see those secondary stories in a short fiction collection, Crypt short fiction collection in the future. Like we might get, the tank in there, and we might get the Washington, D.C. in there. Mm-hmm. So some of those things might go. And then there are several characters who just were dropped completely for various reasons. In short, if there's a character you desperately want to see in the ship, you're just going to have to wait and see. I'm not changing any of this for any reason because I know exactly what happens.
Yep. Exactly. We have a question in the chat room about our guest next week on Deep Cuts. His name is George Schraub, H-R-A-B. Thank you, Beth, for catching up there. So I'm ready to start. If you are, we got a lot to talk about.
We do. It is time for Deep Cuts. We record these as bonus episodes. If you guys got to tap out now because the story's done, go with God. Catch this conversation in the podcast feed. Of course, subscribe. Oh, we forgot one thing. Steve the Iceberg, Rikki Berg's Junkie Party is going to be Saturday, January 4th, 4 p.m. to 11 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. to 2 a.m. Eastern. So you guys should all get ready for that.
Yeah, I was supposed to go to this last one, but I was late at an event and then a little under the weather and did not join. So I am making you guys a promise, a guarantee, as it were, that I will be at the January 4th one.
I guarantee it.
No holds barred. I already put it in my calendar. I blocked everything else off so we can hang out.
Well, you're going to be on that show.
Well,
I stand by it. I guarantee it.
Yeah.
And then, of course, if you guys have any things you want to communicate to us or ideas for a Deep Cuts, please email info@emptyset. We would love to have you. We just passed 1,000 people on our SMS list. So if you're not on that yet, text SIGTEXT, one word. That's SIGTXT to 855-955-5095.
And I found a little more information. We have a lot of problems with non-U.S. phone numbers. Sometimes Canadian phone numbers work, sometimes they don't. I've learned it must be in the same format. Your phone number needs to be in the same format as U.S. phone numbers, which is 3-digit area code, 3-digit prefix, 4-digit after that. If it's not, I think it's not going to work with this system quite yet.
Okay. And then, of course, you also can get stuff from the newsletter. And finally, last thing I'll say is if you want to know what is coming out from us in 2025, go to scottziegler.com. There's a blog post there. It's got a picture of cats being herded because that is what we are doing. Lots of glorious stuff coming out for you guys in the coming year. So you can go there and read it. Feel free to leave a comment. Tell me what you think. It's all good. All right, you ready to set that timer, Dolly?
Yeah, let's do the deed.
Okay, hold on. I call it up.
And you've removed the who's it, what's it?
I believe so. Let's find out.
Yeah.
Yep. Solo. Scott mic, A mic. Checking all. That's all it's soloed. We're ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to go ahead and hit record right now. Okay, ready?
Mm-hmm.
Hot take. Die Hard isn't a Christmas movie. I swear to God, if I have to hear one more engagement-baiting idiot throw that out there for clicks, I swear to God, I'm going to make him walk barefoot across broken glass while chanting, "Now I have a machine gun, ho ho," over and over and over again until they bleed out.
Okay. Wishing death by blood loss isn't exactly in the holiday spirit. I think what we really need here is a way to scientifically measure what makes a Christmas movie. If only we had some system.
I've been waiting for this moment my entire life. I have the official system by which we can determine what is or is not a Christmas movie without fail, inarguable, all caps, exclamation points.
All right, now we're talking. We'll address the Future Dark Overlord's Christmas movie qualification system right after this short break.
Here we go. Welcome to Deep Cuts, the bonus episode of the Scott Sigler Slices Fiction Podcast, where a sci-fi author and an audiobook narrator discuss things and stuff in the world of writing and content creation. I am Scott Sigler, sci-fi horror author known far and wide as the Future Dark Overlord.
And I am A.B. Sigler, publisher at Empty Set Entertainment and audiobook narrator. And on this Deep Cuts, we're talking about what does or does not constitute a Christmas movie.
A reminder, this is a bonus episode of the Scott Sigler Slices feed. It is not part of any particular tale. So if you're listening to this to know what's going on in the story, you could go ahead and skip it, but we would love to have you hang out anyways, because it's fun.
All right, so let's get started. Okay, of course, the trite, lazy debate about whether Die Hard is or isn't a Christmas movie is something we suffer through every holiday season and might even talk about tonight. But you have a set of rules that we are going to follow this evening. What are they called?
They're called the Christmas Movie Criterion.
I hope the Criterion Collection has never made a Christmas movie Criterion Collection.
If they have, they shall walk across broken glass until they bleed to death. Oh, we're not doing that anymore.
Understood.
Okay.
Describe.
Let's see. Here we go. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the Christmas Movie Criterion. You will see how scientific I am and how smart I am because of this heuristic. This heuristic number one.
A rubric, if you would.
Does it have the word Christmas in the title? If it has the word Christmas in the title, it is a Christmas movie. You may relax.
That's interesting. I wonder if that's really true.
It's absolutely true because it's got Christmas in the title.
Well, I mean, but what if it's a movie about Christmas Cove, Maine, which has nothing to do with Christmas?
I can guarantee you the Hallmark Channel is going to have a Christmas tree in that motherfucker right there.
To be fair, they probably already do.
Probably
Sean will
do.
probably let us know before we move much further.
Yes. Hey, Mike Words. So that is heuristic number one. Moving on to number two. If Christmas is not in the title, move on to number two. Number two. Is Santa Claus a character? If the real Santa is a character, it is a Christmas movie, full stop, relax, get some eggnog, watch your flick. If the lead character is a regular guy who is a mall Santa or some equivalent, it is a Christmas movie, calm down, get your eggnog, relax. If a mall Santa is just in the background, just like ringing bells or whatever, and that does not make it a Christmas movie, that's just a set dressing, okay? So you have to move on to point number three.
Okay.
You have a question on that?
I was just going to say, does it rule out that it's a Christmas movie,
No.
or does it mean it's not necessarily a Christmas movie because it hasn't met the second criterion?
It is not necessarily a Christmas movie. And if there is no Santa at all in your movie, you got to move on to 2B. Moving on to 2B. Ready for 2B?
I am ready for 2B.
Is Santa not a character, but Frosty the Snowman, a major elf, Krampus, one of the 13 reindeer, are any of them a character? Then it is a Christmas movie.
Can we move on to not to be?
I move on to number 3 from there.
Okay,
But
well, that's not to be.
I know. I don't ever. As soon as I said 2B, I'm like, I have something for this. But I
Okay,
couldn't
what's
land it.
number 3?
Number.
Well, before you tell me what number 3 are, how many are there?
Well, there's 1, 2, and 2B. Then there's 3, 4, and 5.
Great.
5.
Let's go to
Okay,
3.
moving on. Here we go. Was it not 13 reindeer? Sean's castigating me in the chat room. How many reindeer are there? 9?
I think 13 reindeer.
I thought there were 13 reindeer.
I have no idea.
On Donner, on Blitzen, on Cupid, on Vixen, on Sam, on Vixen. Yeah, I think it's 13.
What about Sleepy?
Sleepy's a dwarf. He's not even an elf. He's not part of this conversation. Jesus Christ, I crush it. Rule number 3 is, now remember.
It's 8 reindeer.
Is it 8?
It's 8 tiny reindeer.
Okay, and Rudolph, is he one of the 8 or is he up? Is it 9?
I don't know. Let me
right.
continue to sing the song in my head. But is 13 Reindeer like maybe a sequel to the 13th Warrior?
I mean, it could be. It could be like Fast and Furious 4, where they just add 4 more people to the cast. I don't know. Let's move on. Fast and Furious, by the way, not a Christmas movie. Rule number 3. You only arrive here if you have not satisfied Rule 1 and Rule 2, or Rule 2B. Is a Christmas tree an important prop in the movie? It's not just there, but its presence directly affects the movie, and it couldn't be just like a large deciduous potted fern, for example, right? It can't just be some kind of obstacle that gets in the way. It has to be part important plot device in the movie, either for the plot itself or causing or preventing some type of action which changes the course of the movie.
So this is, I see why you're sort of ranking them, and they're yes ands or ors, because that's a pretty broad. Like, is it not a summer movie? For example, a summer movie happens at the beach. If a movie happens at the beach about Christmas, is that a summer movie? No, But so what I'm saying is that one's kind of broad, but it probably works specifically in the genre of Christmas movies.
Yeah.
So what you're sort of saying is, just because there's a gift doesn't make it a Christmas movie.
Correct.
Because that could happen at a birthday or on
Exactly.
Sadie Hawkins' day or whatever.
That's why I'm not talking about the accoutrements of gifts and gift giving, because there are many other events during the year where you would either give or receive goods and or services.
Sure.
Right?
Makes sense. Makes sense.
Moving on to number 4 is the Christmas holiday integral to the plot. If it's a Christmas party, a family gathering because it's Christmas, someone dealing with an existential angst because it is Christmas and what are they going to do? They don't have a family. They don't have a support system. Then it is a Christmas movie. Now, would the movie not happen unless it's Christmas? Then it is a Christmas movie. Okay? You see what I'm saying?
I think I see what you're saying. I'm going to see it in practice, I think.
And A has a list of movies she's going to put up against my rigorous, ironclad, inarguable list of what defines a Christmas movie. So we're going to, all the ones you're wondering, is it a Christmas movie? Is it not? We're going to settle all of this shit right there.
Maybe not. There are so many Christmas movies. I have picked a smattering of movies I think are worthy of the Christmas movie criterion.
Christmas movie criterion, the CMC. So, and finally, number 5. Number 5, can the same movie happen without Christmas? So 4 and 5 are very closely related, but I think there's enough wiggle room. You have to say, if I can make this exact same movie happen on Arbor Day, for example,
I do
on
love
Valentine's
that
Day.
holiday. Mostly the traditions around that.
Oh, you just wait
but-
till Arbor Day in Parrish, Michigan. It's going to be nuts.
Oh Lord.
So if the movie can happen exactly as it is without Christmas being involved at all, it is not a Christmas movie. And that covers all possible examples, parameters, conflagrations, computations. Everything you can even think of is covered by this system. It is a flawless system. It is as eternal as the written word of any of 5,000 or 6,000 religions.
We should probably start.
Let's go.
All righty.
All right.
All right. So I'm going to start by saying I collected this list of movies mostly just without knowing what the rules were. He doesn't know what the movies are. I didn't know what the rules were. Knowing though that we weren't ranking Christmas movies, and that's important because they're a little far, very far afield. I will also say part of what I did in trying to think of creative movies to test the rules. I'm going to use Sleepless in Seattle as an example of a holiday movie because it takes place and it's significantly around New Year's Eve. But nobody would ever call that a New Year's Eve movie.
Yeah.
So some of these are a little bit like that. Let us begin.
Let's begin. Let's get at it.
All right. So I can read you a little bit of I'm going to read you a little bit of what the movie's about, and I'll tell you when it was made.
Okay.
And then I think we could move fast through some of these because
No, you're going to tell me. You're going to tell me the title or just what it's about.
The title, the year came out, what it's about.
Perfect.
We're going to start with Four Christmases.
That's a Christmas movie.
That's a Christmas movie. I will let you know a little bit about what it's
not only
about,
got Christmas in the title, it's got 4 Christmases in the title.
And it doesn't sound like a chipper movie, but I'm going to assume everything turns out okay in the end.
I did kind of enjoy that movie.
4 Christmases?
Yeah.
With Reese Witherspoon?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't think I've ever seen it.
It's pretty fun.
Oh, okay. So, Four Christmases came out in 2008 when their plans for an exotic vacation fall apart. Unmarried couple Brad, played by Vince Vaughn, and Kate, played by Reese Witherspoon, must spend Christmas Day trudging around to a quartet of family get-togethers. While Brad counts the hours till he can escape the onslaught of crazy relatives, Kate begins to wonder about her own choices and ponders whether her family members are not so crazy after all.
First of all, Vince Vaughn, automatic. And
Fair.
Also, you better Google me, bitch. It's in that movie.
Okay, good to know.
Yep.
So that clearly, by your definition, holiday movie.
Rob out in the chat room says, I didn't see that movie because I didn't see the first 3 and I thought I would be lost.
I like it. I like it. That means you've never been to 4 funerals or
Recluse,
4 weddings and a funeral.
Recluse Mage says, 4 Christmases is a horror movie, and you are not wrong. You are.
Okay,
if you are at
good
all
to know.
socially awkward around other people's families, it is a very much horrifying movie.
And don't worry, if you're not awkward around other people's families, those people will be awkward around you. Not to worry. Sean Dyer in the chat room asks, Nightmare Before Christmas, a Halloween movie, a Christmas movie, or both?
I'm a little fuzzy on the plot of A Nightmare Before Christmas. Do you remember?
I've not seen
Okay. We'll come back to that. Make a note. We'll come back to it. Let's go through your list.
it. Okay. This is going to be interesting.
Hit me.
The Wizard of Oz, 1939.
Not a Christmas movie.
So why this is interesting is if you Google Christmas movies, which I, of course, did preparing for this, the number of times The Wizard of Oz shows up because people watch it at Christmas time is so bizarre that I did some homework about it. I kept asking, like, the tornado does not happen even in the winter. It absolutely is not Christmas in Oz. There's nothing indicating that there is any Christmas with any of the movie, the fictional Oz or the real life Kansas. So I kept looking. And part of the reason is because after in much of the U.S. and Canada, after the evening Yule log that played on the TV, in my town it was Channel 13, in New York it was Channel 13, they played The Wizard of Oz on Christmas Eve and or Christmas Day. Many did that twice.
Right.
So on Christmas, when you didn't have streaming options, when you there weren't a million things to do, you could probably watch The Wizard of Oz on your local access cable channel. So it's considered, weirdly, a Christmas movie.
Well, they're completely wrong. Just because you watch a movie on Christmas does not make it a Christmas movie. I should have put that in the list. We'll put it in the list. But Rob also came back and said, A Nightmare Before Christmas has what in the title?
Christmas.
It's a Christmas movie.
Well, but that was my question about Christmas Cove. If there's a movie about Christmas
Cove is a Christmas movie.
If it's a fishing movie,
I guarantee you it's happening during Christmas.
You know, you guys. I mean you guys. Come on in here. I'm going to pull back the curtain a little bit and tell you, before this show started, we had a little confab about what the rules would or wouldn't be. Did I need to know the rules? Did he need to know the list of movies? And then he said to me, listen, this is like, you don't have to, this is just fun. We're going to have fun. You don't have to continue. You don't have to be well. And here I am about to be, well, wait a minute, because.
I'll tell you what, let me put a pin in this. You find me that Christmas Cove movie, any movie with Christmas in the title, that you want to debate whether it's a Christmas movie, and then we'll have that debate, because I don't think such a thing exists.
Fair enough. Yeah. And well, actually, you make a good point there, because if somebody was, okay, Christmas Cove is a fishing Cove.
That's a valid point. I can't argue
So
that.
if there was some sort of tragedy that happens there and they made a real life verisimilitude movie about it, wouldn't be a Christmas movie. Would it?
I believe I stand by my heuristic.
All right.
My heuristic says that is probably a Christmas movie. It's got Christmas in the title. But
All right.
it is what you have brought up is a red and green fly in the jelly. It's
I
very
like it.
possible that could happen. Very possible.
All right. So here we veer into some of your other rules.
Hit me. Let's go.
In 1989's Prancer. Refusing to give up her belief in Santa Claus, a child, Jessica Riggs, played by Rebecca Harrell,
Mhm.
discovers a hurt reindeer in the woods, which she believes to be Prancer.
Okay.
With the help of a sympathetic veterinarian, Jessica takes care of the wounded creature. It's supposed to be a secret, but eventually a store Santa Claus, the girl's dad, played by Sam Elliott, and the entire town find out about Prancer, leading to big problems for Jessica and her family.
Okay. Based on what you've told me, is it actually Prancer, who is one of the 9 and/or 13 reindeer? Is it Prancer, or is it just some rando reindeer named Prancer? That'd be like naming your dog Jesus, and now it's a movie about the Bible. It's not how it works.
I have no idea. You have all the knowledge I have
Oh, I
about
see.
Prancer.
I see.
So you can make whatever assumptions you
Y'all
need to.
in the chat room, get on the internet right now and find out whether Prancer was actually the actual Prancer. Also, if you're listening to this in the podcast feed, the reason I'm talking to this chat room is because we record these things live every Wednesday at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. You can join us in the chat room at facebook.com/ScottSigler, twitch.tv/ScottSigler, or youtube.com/ScottSigler. We would love to have you. Tracy Shank in the chat room asked a great question. Does this Prancer fly in the movie? If that Prancer flies, that's actually Prancer. That's a Christmas movie.
So we need to apply this criterion to debatable Christmas movies, which we will do right after this break. Do us a favor and listen through these short ads as it helps the show. We'll be back in a minute.
I have to say, you're killing it today, dude. You're doing great. I'd be on a show with you any fucking time.
Oh,
This
well,
is just
that's
awesome.
good. That's good.
Where's the? Here we are. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
You got your timer?
I do.
Welcome back to Deep Cuts, where we talk about all things in the world of fiction writing and audiobook narration and content creation.
We're talking about the future Dark Overlord's Christmas movie criterion, his official heuristic for defining what is or isn't a Christmas movie.
Heuristic. Heuristic.
Alrighty. So, while the jury is out on Prancer, wait, I forgot. I was reading something. You said, if he flies.
If
we're
he
finding
flies.
out.
Real quick in the chat room, Neil D says, my dad and I, we watched Kill Bill as our Christmas movie. Plenty of red in that film. And I'm sure there is some green somewhere in it. Okay, I have no idea why we watch it for Christmas, but whatever causes us to love Quentin Tarantino must also cause us to love Sigler novels. We must have ate lead paints as young children. Now, of course, I am pro eating lead paint chips if it makes you buy my books.
I mean, no.
But no, Kill Bill.
We are
just
not.
because you will notice
we are
nowhere
not.
in my heuristic did it have red and green as colors. That's not part of what's going on because those are very common colors. Very
fair.
common colors. All right, let's go.
All right, we're going to speed through a few here
Speed
because
round.
they are easily.
Ooh, Kim Hansen in the chat room says he flies and joins Santa. Prancer is a Christmas movie.
All righty, good to know. All righty, so Krampus 2013.
Christmas movie.
Uh,
Do you know why?
because it,
Because it has Krampus in it.
yeah, you said that was one of the characters.
Correct.
A Christmas Story 1983.
That is a Christmas movie on many, many levels, but also probably the greatest Christmas movie of all time.
Surviving Christmas.
Christmas movie.
Okay.
We're not even getting out of the blocks here. They're
well,
all
I'm
getting
doing
eaten
a
by
handful
one.
of the fast ones that I know will
Okay,
qualify
okay.
for rule number one.
Let's go.
And I wanted to let you guys know that these are fun to watch. Emmett Otter's Jug Band Christmas, 1977.
100%. That is a Christmas movie.
Yes, it is.
I like the sequel where Emmett Otter gets strung up on heroin and has to go sell his little otter tail down in Beavertown. It's not.
We call it Beaverton.
Oh, he has to sell his little otter tail down in Beaverton. I'm not saying it's the least inspiring Christmas movie of all time, but when Emmett Honor's comeback tour, he does really, really good, and he kicks the junk, and I think it's beautiful.
Mr. Sigler.
Yeah.
I will not have you besmirch Emmett Honor's
sorry,
pristine reputation.
Kyle, I think we're getting to that. Kyle in the chat room. Rob Otto says, a what story? Come on, eh? So
what did I do?
he's like, is it a Christmas story?
Oh, yeah.
Rob also says, Emmett Otter gets hooked on snow. Absolutely. All right, here we go.
All right. Home Alone, 1990.
On this is taking a little work.
Should I?
Yes, read. By all means, read.
When bratty 8-year-old Kevin McAllister, played by Macaulay Culkin, acts out the night before a family trip to Paris, his mother makes him sleep in the attic. After the McAllisters mistakenly leave for the airport without Kevin, he awakens to an empty house and assumes his wish to have no family has come true for Christmas.
He's very excited.
Hilarity and hijinks ensue.
I would like to point out, number one, this is a child abuse movie.
Fair.
It is a child abandonment movie. Child Protective Services should have been called in the first act. Joe Pesci's patience and tolerance in this movie to not successfully murder that child is legendary. But is it a Christmas movie? Let's go to the tape. Here we go. All right,
I will also
ready?
point out it was Catherine O'Hara's audition for Schitt's Creek, being a terrible mother.
Oh my God, Catherine O'Hara is just the fucking sexiest bomb in the world. Does it have the word Christmas in the title? No. Right? Home Alone? No. Is Santa a character? A real Santa character? No.
No.
Is a mall Santa a main character?
No.
Is Frosty the Snowman, a major elf, Krampus, or one of the however many fucking reindeer there are? No, I don't think so. Is Christmas integral to the plot? I ask you that question to make this point. There's absolutely no reason this same plot couldn't have happened, because the family is taking a jaunt down to Jamaica and they just forget the kid at home.
Except I will admit to not having a rock solid memory of this, but I do believe that some of the ensuing hijinks include strings of Christmas lights and stuff. So if that's the case, if it's the accoutrements of Christmas are necessary to the plot, and you wouldn't have those in July in Jamaica.
Are those Christmas lights used in any booby traps? Are the Christmas lights integral to a booby trap?
That's what I think. I think Christmas ornaments and Christmas lights are part of his safety booby traps.
Okay. That's a fucking interesting question. We may have to go back and rewatch it. Rob probably knows. Rob's in the chat room right now. Rob Otto, by the way, if you're listening to this in the podcast feed, Rob Otto is my screenwriting partner and the co-creator of Slay. So he knows an enormous amount about storytelling. I'm going to tell you that right now. If some of the booby traps in Home Alone could not be made without Christmas lights, because you only get Christmas lights at Christmas unless you're in a tacky bar in East Village in San Diego, right?
True.
I believe we may have to review this and watch it, but it may be a Christmas movie. Tyler Miller in the chat room says it has Christmas music. Doesn't fucking matter. You don't tell me you couldn't put some Dan Fogelberg on that shit and it's not the same movie. You know what I'm talking about?
Well, yeah. I wouldn't put it past
Phil
Dan
Collins,
Fogelberg. Yeah.
Let's go. You can put Dokken on that soundtrack.
I will also say I believe, because this takes place in New York and a very, very earlier Donald Trump makes a cameo in it. I think that there might be some sort of Christmas something to do with either the parade or the decorations in Manhattan or something like that, which wouldn't be in July either. I
am not arguing with you. There are the trappings of Christmas all about this film, but are they just things in the background? Could you have the exact same film if Catherine O'Hara takes a trip to Jamaica and leaves the kid? I believe you could.
So this one we need to revisit?
This one requires more scientific scrutiny.
We'll come back with more results at some future point.
Let's go.
Okay. Miracle.
Sorry, in the chat room, Rob says the wet bandits specifically target families out of town for Christmas. So yes, but they could also target families who are out on vacation.
No, but that's harder to do. What are you just going to
Dude, I
drive
rob
all
houses
around
all
New
the
York?
time. I rob
You
houses all the
never
time.
Robbed a house.
Yes, well, you know.
And also wildly impressive, Rob. Thank you for that.
Okay.
So, moving on to Miracle on 34th Street from 1947.
I know of it.
In this Christmas classic, an old man going by the name Kris Kringle fills in for an intoxicated Santa in Macy's annual Thanksgiving Day parade. Kringle proves to be such a hit that he is soon appearing regularly at the chain's main store in Midtown Manhattan. When Kringle surprises customers and employees alike by claiming that he really is Santa Claus, it leads to a court case to determine his mental health and, more importantly, his authenticity.
Do you know the results of that court case? Because this is the American judicial system.
Legitimately not spoiling Miracle on 34th Street.
I would like to point out the American judicial system is never wrong. It is ironclad. It is indivisible and with liberty and justice for all. Okay, so you're not going to spoil it on this cast.
We don't even need that. We need to follow your heuristic.
My heuristic says, according to some people in the chat room are saying certain elements of the court case might lead one to believe that it is actually Santa. Therefore, wait, I'm sorry. We got to go back. We missed a step.
Yeah.
A main character is a mall Santa. It is a Christmas movie. That is step 2. Yes.
All righty.
Step 2, Christmas movie, 100%.
All right, things are about to get crazy.
Let's go. Let's go.
Scrooged, 1988. In this modern take on Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol,
that's good. Yeah, okay.
Frank Cross, played by Bill Murray, is the wildly successful television executive whose cold ambition and curmudgeonly nature has driven away the love of his life, Claire Phillips, played by Karen Allen. But after firing a staff member on Christmas Eve, Frank is visited by a series of ghosts who give him a chance to reevaluate his actions and right the wrongs of his past.
Okay, so all we need to do is go to the source material. This is a remake of A Christmas Carol, right?
It is a retelling of A Christmas Carol.
Christmas movie.
Okay.
If you're retelling A Christmas Carol, that is a Christmas movie. Unless it's called a Christmas Carol movie because Carol is an international assassin who likes to execute people all through the year but gets a bonus on Christmas. That's not a Christmas movie. Let's continue.
I figured that Scrooge would end up a Christmas movie because of the Christmas Eve part of that. Like, firing happens every day of every year. It's particularly crappy to do that on Christmas Eve versus the 3rd of February or something like that.
Correct. I concur. We're saying that is a Christmas movie. Let's go. What do we got now?
Violent Night, 2020.
Christmas movie, 100%. Love it. Solid movie. Would watch it again.
2022.
We saw that in the theater, remember?
I don't know that this qualifies according to your plan.
It's Santa's the character.
Well, Santa's a character.
No, Violent Night is Santa. It's Santa. He uses the Scandinavian axe, right? Didn't we see that? Or are we confusing? Violent Night. That is correct. That is the David Harbour.
Yes.
That is absolutely a Christmas movie because a very combat proficient Santa is in it. Also, John Leguizamo's in that shit. I'll watch anything that dude is in. Drop of a hat. Fucking he's awesome.
All right. So we are down to the nitty gritty here. We just have a few more.
Let's go.
Trading Spaces, 1983.
Trading Spaces or Places?
Places, sorry.
Thank you.
Upper crust executive Louis Winthorpe III, played by Dan Aykroyd, and down-and-out hustler Billy Ray Valentine, played by Eddie Murphy, are the subjects of a bet by successful brokers Mortimer and Randolph Duke. An employee of the Dukes, Winthorpe, is framed by the brothers for a crime he didn't commit. When the siblings then instill the street-smart Valentine in his position. When Winthorpe and Valentine uncover the scheme, they set out to turn the tables on the Dukes.
I was dreading this. I was hoping you wouldn't bring this one up because as a massive fan of this movie, big fan of Dan Aykroyd, really big fan of Eddie Murphy, huge fan of the screenplay. I have to say, this movie could happen at any time during the year. And Christmas, I mean, I've only seen it like 11 or 12 times.
I mean, only.
Christmas, you could take this movie out of Christmas, drop it in anywhere. You can make it an office party to celebrate a merger or anything else. I honestly do not think Christmas. This is not a Christmas movie. It is a movie that happens at Christmas.
Yeah, and I think that part of the reason that it happens, or part of the appeal of it happening at Christmas, which doesn't make it a Christmas movie, is a lot of the set and the scene design is prettier, and also with the snow sort of grittier when it needs to be, the down and out part of that.
Right.
But that could also happen any other winter day in
Now,
New York.
Rob out in the chat room says, Lewis eats salmon through his Santa beard. He should get points for that, but not a Christmas movie. The Santa beard scene is one of the things that gets it near the gray area.
Yeah.
Because you don't know, but you also could be wearing a fake beard because you're going in disguise because you're sneaking in to the place of employment from which you were fired and forcibly removed and also showed up for suspicion of drug use. So you wear a fake beard to get back in? You shouldn't be there. Let me tell you something about trading places. Let me tell you something about it. This movie, from the perspective of a CEO on LinkedIn, I am very much on the side of the brothers because employees are interchangeable and they should have loyalty to the organization. When they're fired, they should be escorted out the door with a smile on their face and say, thank you very much for the opportunity to be in service. I'm very much on LinkedIn these days, a lot. I'm very pro douchebag CEO. Yeah, I said it. There, I said it.
Okay.
Next movie.
Alrighty. Gremlins, 1984.
It stings.
Is this the
it
other
burns.
one?
It burns. Oh, I'm dreading this one too. Shit. Let's see.
If some of you are younger than we are, Gremlins, this Christmas story gone awry, starts with a father who just wants to buy a neat present for his son. Instead, he purchases a strange creature from a Chinatown shop that magically multiplies and leads to more holiday bedlam than the father bargained for.
We got an enormous amount of quotes from Trading Places in the chat room right now. Looking good, Billy Ray. Feeling good, William.
That's the salve that's the salve because it burned so much that you had to call it not a Christmas
So let's
movie.
talk about Gremlins. Now, I've put some thought into this, assuming this would wind up on the list. Billy gets the Mogwai as a Christmas present.
He does.
As we have discussed, there are other times in a person's life where they are given goods and or services as a token of affection. Could be his birthday. Could be a fucking Easter present. I don't know. Depends on what religion you follow, right? You get a present. Could be
However
Hanukkah.
big the basket is.
However, I feel like that's the story of title of a short story. However big the basket is, which of course would be Basket Case, which is not a Christmas movie. So let's say Billy gets his Mogwai present on his birthday. What changes about the movie? Yes, there's snow. Let's say his birthday is January 7th, right? Well past New Year's, well past Christmas. There's a ton of snow. It's a small town. The local law enforcement is clearly on the take and not paying attention to anything. His neighbor's just a crazy bitch who, yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
I don't know what else makes it Christmas movie.
Well,
I was going to say, except for the
go ahead and read
chimney.
Go ahead and read that.
Rob, our pal Rob in the chat room says Phoebe Cates' character has trauma because her dad died trying to go down the chimney in a Santa suit at Christmas. I say Christmas movie.
Okay, I'm not saying he's wrong, except people might go down the chimney for various reasons. Or the same story.
Sir.
The same story could be told at Easter.
Sir.
Now listen. Her dad dressed up in an Easter bunny suit
No.
and tried to go in through the vent work in the attic to hide eggs and died and rotted in the vent work of the house.
No.
Yes.
No,
Yes.
Santa goes down the chimney. The Easter bunny doesn't fuck up your ductwork. That
But
is
the
not
Easter
how
bunny,
that works.
the Easter bunny could fuck up your ductwork.
No, but we're not saying could. We're saying does. Santa comes down the chimney. The Easter bunny might not even go in the house.
Oh, Easter bunny goes in the goddamn. If you ever look for Easter eggs, they're all over the place.
I mean,
I can't keep track of these goddamn things.
I maybe should start looking for Easter eggs since I have hid none and they're all over the place.
I am going to have to bring down the gavel on this one.
Oh,
but there's
Lord.
one factor that no one is considering in this movie. There's one X coefficient, one heuristic, one cladogram, one point of data. That point of data is that one of the gremlins hides in the Christmas tree inside the mom's house and jumps on her out of the Christmas tree. Now, I did mention you could have a deciduous fern in your house, a potted plant. You can't hide a gremlin in a deciduous fern.
But you could in a ficus.
I disagree. I think ficuses are too thin. I don't think they're thick enough. I don't think there's enough bushiness to a ficus to hide a gremlin. So therefore...
What about a pothos? That is a giant plant.
God, that's a good question too. Ian Segal, you're wrong. The heuristic is not broken. It is not broken. This is an ironclad scientific process that has been hammered out since the invention of movies began. I think it is the Christmas tree combined with Phoebe Cates' story, although she's a secondary character. I believe that Gremlins does officially count as a Christmas movie.
That's good.
If only they'd made a sequel to Gremlins, it would have been awesome. Because the first one was just so amazing. Like if they had just made a sequel to Gremlins, it would have been great. Would have been great.
Oh, I like it. Recluse Mage from Twitch says they could hide in a cat crate.
God darn it! Well, I mean, you'd have to have a fucking bobcat, bro. Your house cat would have to be like lion size. Because remember, those gremlins, the bad gremlins with those ears, we're talking about like they're 30, 40 pounds. They're a chunk of terror going on right there. Okay, what else we got?
We are down to our last two, and they are the challenging ones. We are going to start with Die Hard. Is Die Hard a Christmas movie? Shall I read you guys what Die Hard is about?
Please, I don't want to immediately pass judgment without gathering observable data. So why don't you read that to me? Go ahead.
New York City policeman John McClane, played by Bruce Willis, is visiting his estranged wife, Bonnie Bedelia, and 2 daughters on Christmas Eve. He joins her at a holiday party at the headquarters of the Japanese-owned business she works for. But the festivities are interrupted by a group of terrorists who take over the exclusive high-rise and everyone in it. Very soon, McClane realizes that there's no one to save the hostages but him.
Well, let's talk about that. So we did say in Trading Places that could be an office party, right? The only anchor for Trading Places that might make it a Christmas movie is the Christmas office party. Except that party could be happening anytime during the year.
Mm-hmm.
Die Hard. When you have a office party that is not a Christmas party, family members don't usually fly across the country to try and hang out.
Yep.
Because it's like it's your June Q3 business party where they're going to serve you pizza and shit. Because I've read on LinkedIn, if you want to be a successful CEO, don't give people raises, give them pizza.
Oh, LinkedIn. You read that.
I've been getting a lot of business tips from LinkedIn, dude. A lot. Just give them pizza and like it's cheap. So Die Hard does have a person trying to reconnect with his family and rekindle a flame with his former spouse.
Whose name is?
Bonnie Bedelia.
Who plays what character?
I don't know. I forget.
Holly.
Oh, snap. So that's a point. That's a point in favor. So while Die Hard's Christmas party could be another party, and John McClane is just real sad that he pissed things away with fucking smoking hot smart Bonnie. Holly. So that doesn't make it a Christmas movie, except for one key prop.
Okay.
And that prop is a certain gray sweatshirt / sweater that is on one of the terrorists that says, "Now I have a machine gun." Ho, ho, ho.
Mm-hmm.
It only makes sense to write that down at Christmas. If it's the June office party, because you got your Q3 numbers and somebody writes, "Now I have a machine gun, ho, ho, ho," people are like, what the fuck is this? What is wrong with this guy? I mean, other than he killed people. What is wrong with this guy? It's not Christmas. So I think that makes it a Christmas movie.
I agree that it is a Christmas movie. I have a little bit more to add,
Hit
but
me.
I am not necessarily buying that they couldn't have just left ho, ho, ho off the sweatshirt.
No, but he didn't. Ho-ho is on the sweatshirt.
Well, right, but you're saying that there are movies where, I mean, that's sort of similar to, well, there's a Christmas tree there and there's Christmas lights up. Is that a Christmas movie? No, not unless they recognize that the Christmas tree is there. So it's the same set dressing kind of a thing.
It is. And I also mentioned that for Home Alone, if the booby traps involve accoutrements that would not be around if it wasn't Christmas, that kind of drags it by its ankle back into the Christmas movie category.
So I have information from the internets that I agree with, but did not create.
Hit me.
And I did not write down who said this, so forgive me. It was an article about Die Hard and the gestalt of Die Hard. If there's a lull, so this is an argument that this is a Christmas movie. If there's a lull, characters hum, whistle, or blatantly sing Christmas carols. Plus, there are frequent references to the date itself or the spirit of the season. When the terrorists are worried about the mystery cowboy on the upper floors, Hans calms them with, "It's Christmas, Theo, a time of good cheer."
Ooh, that's a good point.
As I aforementioned, Holly.
Yep.
And
Holly
then,
Gennaro.
and then I'm just going to say Argyle is very much a Christmas elf. It just is.
Pedro in the chat room says he wouldn't have been there if it wasn't a Christmas movie. Pedro, I refute your claim. I throw your evidence back in your face because, again, it's the Q3. We met our numbers party. We're getting everybody together and throwing pizza. John McClane, if he is the man that I think he is, and understands that his wife Holly is a scrumptious, smart, delicious. You got to get back together with that girl. You got to fix that shit.
Isn't he agreeing with you?
No, he is saying, where'd he go? I lost him.
He wouldn't have been there, and you were saying that you don't fly across the country for anything but a Christmas party. I am saying
he is so desperate to get back with his wife and reunite his family, he might have come back for a June 13th rando pizza party if it meant, because his motivation wasn't to spend Christmas with his family. His motivation was what? To get back together with Holly, because he knew he'd made a mistake. He'd ignored her during her career. He hasn't seen his kids. That is not relegated to Christmas.
One may argue it's both. I will also point out that at the top of this discussion, part of your argument for why it was a Christmas movie is that people don't fly across the country but for the one important holiday party.
What I'm saying is that's an arguable point, but upon further analysis, when we go to the replay booth, we understand that the toe did step on the out of bounds line. And while that is a great consideration, it turns out to not be valid. It doesn't carry the weight we need it for justice to be served. So I think...
So it is or isn't a Christmas movie?
Now I have a machine gun. It is a Christmas movie.
All right.
Another heuristic, and we may add this on the end. If there is a piece of costuming in the movie that people wear as a Christmas sweater to actual Christmas parties, and it's not just you being weird and edgy, it's not just you being ironic. Like, you can buy this shit on Amazon. I believe that makes it a Christmas movie. And you can buy, now I have a machine gun, on Amazon. Therefore, I believe it is a Christmas movie.
All righty. So the last one we're going to talk about is a 2005 movie called Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
Oh my God, I love that movie. Is that Gina Davis? Is that Gina Davis in her full-on fucking gangster hottie mode?
I think so. I can't remember who the girl is.
Samuel Jackson?
No.
Oh, no, that's not that one?
No, this has Val Kilmer in it and Robert Downey Jr.
Oh, I got the wrong one.
Oh, okay.
Guys, what is the movie I'm talking about that has Gina Davis and Samuel Jackson, and Gina Davis has amnesia, but she's like totally Kill Bill murder assassin person. Great. Rob will know. Hit me up, Rob. So go back to Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
So Kiss Kiss Bang Bang came out in 2005.
Okay.
Two-bit crook Harry Lockhart, played by Robert Downey Jr., stumbles into an audition for a mystery film while on the run from the cops. Winning the part, he lands in Hollywood, where he's flung into a tangled, murderous conspiracy with his childhood sweetheart, Harmony Lane, played by Michelle Monaghan, and hard-boiled private eye Perry Van Shrike, played by Val Kilmer. This deadpan, affectionate parody of the film noir tropes is named for film critic Pauline Kael's influential 1968 collection of film reviews and essays of the same name.
Before we get to that, people in the chat room have pointed out the movie I'm thinking about is The Long Kiss Goodnight, which is a super fun flick. If you've not seen The Long Kiss Goodnight, that is a great one. Get yourself a cocktail or two, hang out with a significant other, and watch that movie. So going back to Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, you know what? Let's apply it. Ready? Here we go. This is the last one, right?
This is the last one, but it's a little bit of a bag of holding.
Let's go ahead. We're gonna go through our heuristic. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
Number 1, does it have the word Christmas in the title?
And no.
Okay. Moving on. Number 2, is Santa, real Santa, a character?
No.
Is a mall Santa a character? Like a lead, not like
No,
a background. No. Okay. Does it involve Frosty the Snowman, a major elf, Krampus, or one of the 9 reindeer?
No, but there is a naked woman painted like a reindeer in a glass case.
Listen, I've watched enough porn to tell you can find that any day of the year. It's not
And
you don't
naughty.
you don't need to just fill that spank bank on Christmas. It's available 24/7. So I'm going to say that means it is a no. Is a Christmas tree an important prop in the movie? Not just there, but its presence directly affects the movie, and it couldn't be just like a huge deciduous fern or something.
No.
Okay, moving on to, is Christmas integral to the plot?
So, no, in the same way that when Kevin is outside of his home in Home Alone, it is Christmas time.
Mm-hmm.
That exists, but in Los Angeles in Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. But that's it.
But it could be like, it's also, the same movie could happen on Valentine's Day.
Yes.
Yes, okay. And now, final heuristic. Can this movie happen without Christmas at all? And again, I admit 4 and 5 are very closely related. They are very much a Venn diagram, almost a circle. Can this movie happen without Christmas being involved at all?
100%.
Then Kiss Kiss Bang Bang is not a Christmas movie. You will pay the plaintiff the fee he wants. Get out of my courtroom and don't ever come back. Yes, darling.
The reason I added Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
Oh, here we go.
Is Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. There are 2 things about it. One, it was directed by Shane Black, who is...
God, Shane Black's a motherfucker, yeah. He's a beast.
Purposefully puts most of his movies around Christmas time. He does that intentionally, including Lethal Weapon.
Because he wants presents, yeah.
And that's part of it. He says it's sort of its own character. It makes the characters that are part of the script react differently in a room that has a Christmas tree in it, things like that. So absolutely, he treats it as a character. So he does it on purpose. But the other reason I wanted to put this particular, instead of saying is Lethal Weapon a Christmas movie, which we can talk about, is because The Nerdist actually did back in 2022, did an entire article about this specific movie and whether or not it's a Christmas movie, how much of Kiss Kiss Bang Bang takes place at Christmas, all of it. Would Kiss Kiss Bang Bang be fundamentally different if it was set in any other time of year?
Okay.
Not at all. So it was interesting because it was a handful of when I was researching, I thought of it, so I moved it to the end of the list. I will say, though, if you are unfamiliar with Shane Black's Christmas Love, I just mentioned that's a lot of the reason that he does that. But there are many, many Shane Black movies that are at Christmas time or include Christmas because he thinks it's important. So I don't know if those are Christmas movies, but Lethal Weapon is one. The Long Kiss Goodnight is one.
Yep.
Kiss Kiss Bang Bang I just mentioned. Iron Man 3.
Not a Christmas movie. Literally everything you've listed so far is not a Christmas movie.
Right. But interestingly for him, for the director, they are all Christmas movies. And I feel like that's worth mentioning anyway.
It is worth mentioning. And Shane Black has directed some of my absolute fucking favorite movies. Also was a character in Predator, another one of my favorite fucking movies. But we're going to go out. Do we have anything else? I'm going to close this out. Close this out. Sean Dyer said, just had a thought. The quote, true meaning of Christmas, end quote, rule is missing from the heuristics. The true meaning of Christmas has to have plot relevance. I considered this in my infinite wisdom and exponentially inexhaustible intelligence. I considered exactly what he is talking about. The true meaning of Christmas is covered by all of my prior things. Number 1 being Christmas is probably in the title. Number 2, can you have a movie?
No. He's talking about...
I'm getting there. Go ahead.
He's talking about the characters evolve, like...
The true meaning of Christmas.
I know, but they won't know that Christmas is or isn't in the title of their movie because they're characters.
Many of the movies about the true meaning of Christmas have Christmas in the title. So that would clear off the cream from the top with a big old milk jug, right? But if we're going to churn butter, lady, if we're going to work that butter churn and just pump that butter churn and make things coagulate, We have to think about it for a second. If the movie is about the true meaning of Christmas, that movie can't happen when you're debating the true meaning of Arbor Day. It is baked into my heuristic that this movie can't happen without Christmas as part of the movie. That subjugates the entire discussion of the meaning of Christmas down to a lower echelon, to the point where it doesn't even need to be considered at all.
Well, we're out of time, so I'm going to give that one to you, but
Thank
I'm
you.
watching you, Sigler.
Well, you know what? I got to say, outstanding. You brought the heat. I mean, you're already smoking, but this time you brought the heat, girl, is what I'm trying to say.
You want to find that script for me?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do want to find that script. When I stop looking at you, because goodness gracious. All right, here we go. Steve, cut this part out. Let's get to the... Jesus. Steve, cut out all the paper. Steve, cut out all the paper rattling, for God's sakes. Oh, here we go. Ready? That is it for this episode of Deep Cuts.
Next episode, our guest will be podcaster and musician George Robb to talk about his new album, Stocking Stuffer. You've got to check it out. He's great, it's great, and we'll see you then.
He is great. I guarantee you, if you've not experienced George Robb before ever in your life, you need to check out the next episode, because he is a delight. He is a delight. Let's get out of here, baby. Goodbye.
We'll see you guys next time.
Merry Christmas and fuck your Christmas movie.